Ah, it was muted. Ah, there we go. Alright, these guys are giving me no time to relax and drink my water and let my throat rest. We are heading straight into game number 3 between PyroDemic and the no-name team. These guys are going to be duking it out for the semifinals of the AD2L Champions League playoffs. The winner of this goes on to the finals to play for a cash prize, of which amount I am not sure. I think it's over $100, so, you know, beer money for the team. They can take themselves out, have a good night, have some fun. But we're going to be heading into this game. Now, no-name team playing under a different name every friggin' game. This game, they're going to be Wingardium Levioso. I used to cast these jerks way back when AD2L Season 1. They've been around for a long time. And definitely some really good players. Frugos is... Frugos played for Root for a while, so like these are some high quality players. But PyroDemic pulling out a good win in game number 2. But as you can hear, the draft is already going. So let's pop over there and see what's going on. Oh, nope, that's not the one. Ah, there we go. Using the wrong overlays. Alright, what's up, friends? This is the draft, so a little bit of a different draft here. The Darkseer banned out and the Nightstalker banned out. PyroDemic realizing that No Name will grab that Nightstalker any opportunity they are given, and Shadow Fiend and the Alchemist both slipping through from what the previous sets of bans were. Before, I think we were looking at yeah, Doom, Slardar, Alchemist, and Shadow Fiend banned out every single time, but now the Shadow Fiend slips through, and PyroDemic is going to grab it right off the bat. On Radiant, it's especially good, so I think they're happy with that first pick. Now, no-name team, they get to choose what they're going to counter that with. They go for the Earthshaker right off the bat, and Earthshaker I feel is a really good hero for dealing with the Shadow Fiend, and because he's just a good hero to kind of roam around and gank on mid. He doesn't need a lot of XP early to do a lot of work. He can kind of just get over there and you know, drop down those fissures to kind of turn the tide of fights in the mid lane. So, and of course, it's kind of a bit of a deny pick as well, because the Earthshaker and the Shadow Fiend together are very, very disruptive heroes. I mean, Earthshaker is very good at defending the Shadow Fiend in the same vein that he's good at ganking them, and of course in team fights later on, the Requiem on top of the Echo Slam is very, very strong. Rubik is going to be picked up here by PyroDemic. Rubik picked in all 3 games this series. Interesting to see. I believe it was run by No Name Team in game number 1, and then game 2, PyroDemic grabbed it, and will be grabbing it again for this series. So, Rubik, 100% win rate in this series alone, so that might be telling of how this last game goes, but we'll see, we'll see. Clockwork going to be the pickup for Wingardium Levioso, and not a great pick against the Rubik, in my opinion. Rubik, very good against Clockwork, because he can just kind of throw him out of the cogs. Is that a bandana or a scarf? It's a bandana. It's gotten super windy out here in Vancouver the last couple days. The clouds kind of parted and all the wind is coming down from the mountains. And it's just super chilly. Like, it's not all that cold. It's like 5 degrees out, like Celsius, 5 degrees. But like the wind chill is just making it absolutely frigid. And so I like to wear the bandana around so that I can just, like, when I'm walking outside, because I got a long walk to work, so I just kind of pull it up over my face, and it kind of keeps my face warm. I use my breath to kind of insulate my face, so the bandana kind of keeps everything warm, and I don't hate how it looks either. It gives me a little bit of style. I look like a nice, handsome golden retriever, so I'm not objected to that at all. But yeah, actually, the AD2L banner, I should just like get rid of that for now. I usually keep that on the screen for in-game because it fits right where the HUD goes, but yeah. My overlays are not set up for AD2L. I've kind of had to improvise for this cast. All of my actual official looking overlays are for UGC, and I've kind of just scrapped them together for this game. But anyways, draft is continuing, so let's talk about that. Bans out the Witch Doctor, the Dazzle, the Huskar, and the Ember Spirit. So a couple healing supports and then a couple potent cores, some fiery cores. But going into the picks, more interestingly, we've got the Gyrocopter picked up by No Name Team again. They ran that in game number 1 to great success. We saw Bunny Kirby just get insane CS on that thing. I think he had pretty close to 80 at 10 minutes. Was just farming absolutely out of his mind. But PyroDemic going to be running the Bounty Hunter for themselves this game. They ran it, it was run by No Name Team in game number 2. and did not do as much for them as they would have hoped. He actually gave up the first blood, was pretty behind on XP, he ended up being like level 4 at 10 minutes or something like that. It was not a great showing from the bounty hunter, and despite a couple really cool and interesting plays, I think he got a courier once, and he got a couple picks by himself. At one point, I think he actually got a double kill by picking someone off and then killing off the Rubik, but just didn't actually manage to have the overall in-game impact that he would have wanted, especially when when Mr. E from PyroDemic picked up that gem. It just became very difficult for him, but Bane picked up by No Name Team as well, so really good counter to the Shadow Fiend, and so far it's looking like PyroDemic has kind of got all their eggs in one basket. That Shadow Fiend's going to be doing a lot for them, and of course they'll pick up another core and probably another offlaner at this point, but as it stands right now, they've got one really big damage dealer, and so the Bane is going to be doing a very good job at shutting that down and helping everyone else on his team set up for their abilities, because the Bane works really well with the Clockwork. You can kind of Nightmare and let Clockwork walk into melee range and pull someone into cogs. That combo works very well, and of course the Nightmare into Rocket Barrage is also very good with the Gyrocopter. So there's a lot you can do with Bane in this matchup that's going to make him a very potent hero against all of the heroes of PyroDemic as it stands. Rubik is very, very good against Bane, though, because, of course, you have a very long channeled ability in that Fiend's Grip. So if Rubik just waits for you to cast that, steals it, lifts you up, then you can get a lot of fights turned around on you. But PyroDemic opting to pick up that Tidehunter again. I don't think the Tidehunter really played as big an impact or had as much of an impact in game number 1 as it would have seemed. I mean, he got a couple Ravages off, but he solo Ravaged 3 or 4 times, and it meant that they didn't really have what it took to team fight. And eventually they kind of came back, but that was a lot more because of their damage than it was their control. Like, I don't feel like the Tidehunter actually contributed to a lot of kills himself. He kind of just was there. So we'll see how it plays out in this game, but I think if they're picking it solely because they had a good game with it, that might be a little bit of a logical fallacy, confirmation bias. But we'll see. We'll see. It definitely could play out well this game for sure. There's he's a very, very beefy hero against a relatively heavy Magic Burst lineup from No Name Team. So. Invoker picked up for the No Name Team as well, so I'm liking how this looks already. They have a very interesting draft in that they don't have a ton of damage. Like their physical damage especially is somewhat lacking, but they do have a ton of magic and a lot of control as well. I mean, the Bane, of course, has the Nightmare and the Fiend's Grip. The Gyrocopter has the Rocket. The Clockwork is nothing but stuns. Earthshaker, nothing but stuns. Invoker, if he goes for a Quaswa X build, he's going to have EMP, he's going to have Tornado, he's going to have Cold Snap. So the chances of PyroDemic being able to disengage from any fight this game are insanely, insanely small. I mean, the Clockwork's going to be chasing you down. You're going to have Fissures blocking you off. The Gyrocopter is a very fast hero in general. We'll have the call down as well. And Invoker, just super speedy, lots of control. So Pyro's going to have a very hard time, you know, kind of jumping in and out of fights like I think they'd like to. And Storm Spirit as a last pick. This is interesting. I don't know if this is going to be as strong a pick as they expect it to be. I mean, Storm has taken a lot of nerfs lately and not been the strongest hero in general. And I don't think he fares all that well against Invoker. I mean, I think the two trade pretty evenly in terms of last hits and farm in the mid lane, but if Storm ever wants to kill the Invoker, Invoker just cold snaps and turns back around and forces the Storm to zip away. I don't see any scenario in which the Invoker just gets blown up solo by the Storm, so it's really going to be on the Storm Spirit to kind of find those heroes that he can pick off, the Bane, the Earthshaker, maybe even the Clockwork, but it's going to be a long and tough road ahead of him. I don't know how this pick is going to play out, but we'll see how it does as the game progresses here. Let's just move this a little bit. There we go. All right, but anyways, let's get to introducing the players. Anonymous player going to be taking the Storm Spirit down to. Oh, this is a safe lane Storm. I didn't even think about this for a second. It just didn't even clue in. It didn't click in my mind that they didn't have a safe lane hero. So it's going to be a safe lane Storm Spirit, which I think actually has a lot more merit than a mid lane Storm Spirit. When you're in the mid, you have a lot more onus on you to gank, to move around the map, to be active, and with the movement speed nerfs to him and his mana pool being not as great as it was before. Or, well, sorry, not his mana pool. The Bloodstone not being as good as it was before. He's going to have a lot more troubles roaming, but in the safe lane, he's going to have a lot more opportunity to farm up and get those items really quickly so that he can kind of be ahead of the curve in terms of mana and abilities. Shadow Fiend matching up against the Invoker is a pretty decent matchup. I think the two of them just trade farm for days, and in any matchup where they trade farm, the Shadow Fiend comes out ahead. Solfu gets out a good cog block, and of course there's the Fissure as well, so it looks like the Bounty Rune is going to go to No Name Team, unless this Bounty Hunter can snag it here, and yeah, the Clockwork does get it. He's going to trade his life for it, but both Bounty Runes do go the way of No Name Team, so they deal with that, I guess. Invoker wearing that new set, it's pretty swaggin'. I do like this set. There's not too many sets I like outside of the one that I usually play. It was that first kind of purpley looking set, but I do like this one. Sentry Ward's down, and both of them dewarded right off the bat, but I think PyroDemic are happy with that. They've got another sentry that they can drop if another one gets placed, so mid lane is going to be a little bit vulnerable to the bounty ganks. Up in top lane, Submaniac going to be playing that Tide Hunter up towards up there as well. Now, we'll see how the creep equilibrium holds out again. The common theme in the last couple of games is that Solfu has gotten a lot out of every single lane that he's been in, and mainly because of this right here. I mean, the creep equilibrium has not been great for PyroDemic. I mean, like, you can look at this. We're 1 minute in already. No stacking and pulling has been done. No shenanigans at all. And the Storm is already pulling a creep wave all the way up to the tower. Now, up on the top lane, No Name Team has grabbed themselves a kill on that Tide Hunter. Missed that out, but looks like a very simple Fissure block into that Brain Sap, and of course, the Rocket Barrage damage. You can never count that out. One of the strongest early spells in the game, and they nab themselves a quick kill on the enemy Tide Hunter. Looks like Shadow Fiend's doing fairly well for himself in terms of last hits so far. Sitting at the top of the charts at 7 and 4, so he's got himself 11 souls, and gets that one taken away from him, and that graph is going to jiggle around a little bit as things get moved around. But yeah, definitely off to a good start. The hardest part about playing Shadow Fiend in mid is just getting those first few last hits so you can get your soul count up, and as that goes up, you start to have a lot more comfortable lane. But anyways, Rubik's going to come in, and they're going to get one raise? Is there two? Oh, they're not going to go for the full combo there. I actually feel like they really could have gone for the full combo if he wanted to go 1 raise, 2 raise, 3 raise, and they don't end up doing it. I think since the Rubik didn't have Fade Bolt yet, he's only level 1, it wasn't going to be enough damage, so... Maniac being a little bit cheeky here, cutting his way through the trees so that he can be right next to the enemy tower, but might get spotted, or might get jumped on here as he goes over to contest the pull. Yes, whichever team loses this game is out of the AD2L playoffs. This is the elimination game. This is the end-all, be-all of your AD2L Season 9 hopes and dreams. And, yeah, Frugas going to get harassed out a little bit here by Minato. Sees an opening, goes for it, throws out some attacks, and is going to go invis once again. Frugas may be in a little bit of a danger. No, he's going to get back to the Tier 2 just fine. But, that Bounty Hunter lane, ooh, he's so baiting this. He's so baiting this. Alright, yeah, he's not going to go for it. Minato thinks better of it and walks himself back away. Streetlight farming up alright, and Tide trying to get in where he can and gets himself a couple last hits, so Tide is having a pretty comfortable lane, but down on bottom, I mean, we see the Clockwork already at 11 and 0 on the last hits, matching his mid hero, and of course he is forced back here to grab his bottle, but once again, he's done very well with this mid lane. Sunstrike catches out the Invis Bounty Hunter that had come to gank Bunny Kirby, so he turns this fight back around, and Clockwork TP's in, but doesn't have a hook shot or anything to get him close, so beautiful play there by Bunny Kirby, getting ganked and turns it back around. Looks like that Sentry Ward that was dropped is fresh, so just had a fresh Sentry Ward down. Bounty got a little bit too close, got the Cold Snap, got the Sunstrike, and the little rat was not able to walk himself away. So despite a double damage on the Shadow Fiend and a Rubik nearby, it just wasn't enough, and very well played there. Cold Snap out onto Mr. E. Fissure gonna land. The Sunstrike doesn't land though because the Cold Snap was a little bit too good. And now lifting Frugas up, they're gonna pull him over the wall and kill him off. But I think trading the Earthshaker for the Shadow Fiend is a trade that No Name Team is happy to make. AD2L memes. You like maple bars, bro. You like maple bars. Got a t-shirt with a maple bar on it from TI. It's the best. I'm so happy about that shirt, man. It's awesome.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Jordan, if you're still in chat, I love you, dude. Shirt's the best. I wear it everywhere, and people see the Dota logo, and they're like, wow, you nerd. And I'm like, I got maple bars, bitch. No one calls me a nerd. No one, I tell you, no one! Now looking for anonymous player down on the bottom lane, forcing him to zip away, but it is not enough. I don't know why I opted to do the voice. I'll stop doing that. Soulfu continuing to be aggressive, though. Like I said, whoa, he's got 2 deaths on him? When did he die? I know he died at the first blood at the rune, but I don't know where his second death came from. He's looking for more ganks, but that Rubik is going to get spotted out by those creeps there, but I think it's going to be just fine. Shadow Fiend, he's doing okay. That first death definitely set him back a little bit, but he's now up to level 6, and he should just be able to raise waves and run back to the jungle as of now. I don't think he should ever really be putting himself in danger of getting caught out by that Invoker. Soulfu gonna grab himself a regen rune. Does not have his level 6 yet, so no hook shots to be had. But he's gonna walk right into the Rubik, and I think he's happy to take this kill. Actually gets tossed out of it, but I think Roar tosses him the wrong way. This is probably a kill, maybe? Yeah, Earthshaker goes in and gets the kill, and Soulfu just leaves Frugas to die as the Bounty Hunter picks up that kill. So going to the Bounty Hunter, not something you ever really want to give, but I think a kill on the Clockwork is something that they're happy with. This Clock, once he gets 6, he's going to be having a big impact in this game. Top lane. Looks like this tower is going to go down. There is a Fortify available, and they'll probably use it, but this wave is pretty healthy, and Streetlight is just kind of going ham on this tower. And, of course, Submaniac has completely just run from this lane. He's headed back to base. He doesn't have 6. He doesn't have anything to fight with. And, yeah, a few more auto attacks. They are going to Fortify just to kind of hold this lane out a little bit longer, but I think Streetlight just walks in and auto attacks it once again. No, they're actually going to leave it. This is deniable. Oh, no, he doesn't have enough damage. Gyrocopter gets the kill. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Tide's base damage is just not high enough to get that kill. Most other heroes, I think, get it on that hit, but just not knowing his damage quite as well. Leonardo going down here on Soulfu. He's trying to run away with that battery assault, gets a good cogs up, pushes them both back, and should be able to walk away from this. Anonymous player, he's got the mana boots and a mango in his inventory, but no actual mana to speak of. Sunstrike going in and catches 2. Splitting the damage doesn't matter, though. They get the kill onto the Storm Spirit, and now looking for the Rubik. Battery Assault pops off, and a little bit more. There we go. An auto attack, and Soulfu gets a double kill. The other kill on the Storm Spirit goes to the Invoker, so 3 kills down on the bottom lane, and that Clock Hook was absolutely perfect. Cold Snap out on Mr. E. He's going to find his way into the trees. He should just be fine. Takes a little bit of harass damage, but does survive that with nary a scratch. And now Submaniac making his way over to the Ancients. And it's interesting that the skill build he's chosen to go for, because 3 points in Anchor Smash helps you deal with those Ancients a little bit better. Ooh, I'm missing kills. As a good Fissure comes out, catches the Shadow Fiend, and with the Cold Snap, they get another kill on him. So holding him down, making sure he never quite gets the farm he needs. He's up to 60 last hits at 8 minutes, so that's pretty good, all things considered, but the 2 deaths are definitely holding him back. Soulfu going to help Streetlight pull the medium camp over into the hard camp, and so Streetlight farms that up, got himself 50 last hits at the moment. He is behind the Shadow Fiend and the Storm Spirit, but is...
Dire's bottom tower is under
They're
attack.
doing it pretty well. Sunstrike out onto Anonymous player. He zips away, but right into the waiting arms of a couple supports. And Soul Ring's up for a little bit more. Is he going to get out? He's only one auto attack from death. Jukes into the trees. No way he gets out of this one. They see him. They know where he is. There's the rocket barrage. And wow, 4 heroes chasing forever, and he almost escaped. But just juked and jived as much as he could, and ended up getting caught out without the ammo, or without the mana to escape, and that's it. Disconnect from the Invoker, so Bunny Kirby gonna be internet's not working for some peoples. There we go. Reconnected, all good. Fucking go? Fucking go? FG? Go, go, go. Alright. We good. We good. What? The fuck? Okay. What is going on right now? Okay. What? 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 Oh. He DCs again. I see. I see. I see. Alright. Let's check out the net worth, friends. So despite being 4th in terms of last hits, the network is the Invoker is actually highest on net worth. Those couple of Sunstrike kills really helping him out. He's got 303 in terms of his kills, kills, deaths, and assists. So doing very good there. Shadow Fiend farming up very well, like I said, despite having a couple deaths to his name. He's up to 80 CS at 9 minutes 30 seconds, so kind of beating out that 80 CS by 10 minutes mark, and has done very, very well for himself in the lane. Gyrocopter sitting exactly where he is in terms of net worth and last hits, sitting right on that 3rd place in the chart. But Invoker starting to get caught out now. They are going to pull him back underneath the tower. He tried to get a kill with that Cold Snap, but it was just barely not enough, and Rubik walks away with a mere sliver of health. So good pick there on the Invoker. Definitely needed to do that to bring his net worth down a little bit. Invoker's one of those heroes that once he gets off to a good start, you just can't stop him. And so good thing they get that pick off there. Storm continues to farm way down on the bottom. And curious to see what his item build is. He's gone for those Arcane Boots, which are an interesting item choice on him because with Tread switched to Int, Storm can go further than he can with Arcane Boots, with a single zip. But if Storm activates those Arcane Boots mid-zip, he can usually go longer than the Intreads. Oh, and this Sunstrike is enough to turn that engagement around and get themselves a kill on the Storm Spirit. However, the Bounty Hunter was there to pick up that last hit on to the Clockwork himself. They get out the track and he goes invis, so Monato's going to get away from that, but fairly decent trade, I'd say, there for No Name Team. I think they want to kill that Storm as much as possible early so that he's as little of a nuisance as possible late. And of course, they do have tools to deal with this, though. I mean, they have the Clockwork, which is a really good kind of instant stun with that hook shot. They've got the Earthshaker, which again is a ton of control. Bane has got himself the Fiend's Grip to keep him down, so as long as they can get on to that Storm Spirit in the first place, they're going to do a really good job at keeping him down. Down at bottom, Invoker starting to push away on this tower. He's got the 4 points up in Quas and Exort, so he's got the 2 Forge Spirits available and ready to push. So, yeah, this is a build that we don't actually see all that much anymore, this kind of Forge Spirit focused Invoker. A lot of Invokers nowadays will go for a Quick Point and Exort. They'll go, or in Wex, sorry, they'll go, the exact build is Exort, Invoke, Wex, and then you go for Alacrity as soon as you can, and then you basically use that Alacrity to just outlast hit your opponent in lane, because it gives you like 100 damage or something. It's absurd how much damage the early Alacrity gives you, and then you just go straight into points in Quas. You get 3 points in Quas, and then go as much Wex as you can. You go into that Quas Wex Invoker, but you build it out of... Ooh. They were expecting someone to be around that corner, but of course it was the bounty hunter that broke their smoke. And Fiend's Grip goes out on the Rubik. They are committed to this kill, but a hook shot through the dead Bane catches out Mr. E. He's trying to channel out his ultimate, but it's not going to happen. Ravage hits a couple, but that's not going to matter. There's no damage to follow it up. Storm trying to help out, but he cannot get out of that one. The fissure hits on hits from Frugas, but trying to walk away. Oh my god, Jukes and Jives dodges the Shadow Fiend raises, but the auto attack hits anyways. Invoker gets himself a kill with the Sunstrike, but there are 4 heroes down on the side of No Name Team, and Kirby is going to have a hard time getting himself out of this one. He's being tracked up. They're chasing as hard as they can. They've got the Rubik in tow. He's come back from that initial death, and oh, actually, he didn't die, did he? No, he just walked right back in. So a full 5-man wipe for PyroDemic against No Name Team. This was insanely well played. I thought they had a really good initiation there, catching out that they were chasing the Rubik initially, and they bursted him down very quickly. They brought the Shadow Fiend down to next to nothing, but he bottled back up. I think there's got to be heals somewhere. Is there a? Yeah, where did? It must have just been a stick and bottle charges, because he got dropped pretty low. I think he was down at least a third of his life points, and got it all back before he continued to fight back. And oh my god, Frugas' play on this Earthshaker here, he walks into the trees, and there's a raise here, and he stops. And then the Shadow Fiend raises right here, and he walks forward and dodges it. It was a perfect read, but ends up dying to a final last hit anyways, but beautiful fight for PyroDemic, though. Beautiful fight, and definitely gives them what they need. I mean, we saw them last game get really good pickoffs in these early to mid-game engagements, and that was what really turned the tide of the game for them. I mean, their mid took off, got a really big farm advantage, and we're starting to see that now with Mr. E bouncing back from those couple deaths. He's now 4, 3, and 5, and has 120 last hits at 13 minutes, so doing really good on his farm, doing really good on his kills, and if you can start to get up to that kind of critical mass Shadow Fiend where you can just roam around and just hit whatever he wants, it's going to be very hard for No Name Team to shut him down. Streetlight farming okay, but not as well as he did in some of the other games. I mean, in game number 1, we saw him with ADCS at 10 minutes, the kind of standard. What? Oh. Said GG by accident. I was like, what? Are they quitting? What? No, don't quit. But yeah. Yeah, Streetlight not farming as well as he could. He's been spending a lot of time roaming. I mean, we saw that kind of smoke gank down to that fight, which just didn't end up working out for him. So he's maybe got to focus a little bit more on some of these ancient stacks, perhaps, and just trying to get his net worth up before he comes to any more fights. I mean, he's got decent items as it stands, but there's a lot of magic on the side of PyroDemic that can really deal with them. Oh, I'm missing kills here as the Clockwork goes for a hook, and the Invoker follows it up with a what? Oh my god, beautiful there. Invoker followed that up with a Sunstrike, which got the kill, but Storm turns that back around. But Bane gets the deny on the Clockwork with the damage from Nightmare. That is something that I don't think I've ever actually seen. The damage is so minute, and Clockwork ends up dying to it, so that gold did not go the way of PyroDemic, but the Bane kill certainly did, and they picked that up. So still a good trade for Pyro, in my opinion. So Spirit, still curious to see what he goes for with this build here. Oh. Alright, fights looking like they're breaking out here, but they kind of were, kind of weren't, as they go in for the Rubik, and the Sunstrike went on the Storm Spirit before that fight, so I thought they might have been going further, but they don't. They just end up taking the kill and walking away. Oh, SF bought back. Okay. Alrighty. That makes so much more sense. I was gonna say, like, pretty sure he took a ton of damage, but yeah, I guess he bought back. So I guess the buyback makes that fight a little bit less in favor of PyroDemic, but they still got 5 for 2, which is still insanely good. I mean, I think the amount of kills that the Shadow Fiend got in that fight more than paid for his buyback, so still a very good fight for them. I didn't realize they bought back. Tidehunter now has his Blink Dagger, and he's going to work on stacking the Ancients up to get the little bit more net worth up. In game number 1, we saw him go for the mech before the Blink, and this game I feels like they don't they aren't prioritizing that kind of Healy teamfight lineup as much. I think they're confident in their ability to go a little bit later in this game, and so they're happy to just kind of farm it up and let the and not worry too much about the early brawls. What the what? What did I just miss? Why do I not have a rewind button? Shadow. Oh, he had the Shadow Blade. Ha! Yeah, Shadow Blade Requiem, that'll do it. Gets him a kill. Down in the bottom river, they're looking for more blood as they chase in. Yeah, nope, alright. Clockwork was ready to go through the hook shot, but just wasn't enough to bring the full fight they needed. They didn't have the firepower, so they back away from that one. Oh wait, the Bounty Hunter's got a mech. Man, I am not on the ball this game. Definitely not on the ball. So yeah, Tidehunter didn't go for a mech because their Bounty Hunter already has one. There we go. Man!
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I haven't casted in so long, man. I gotta get back into this. I guarantee you I was a lot better than this before, but... It's been a while. I'm out of practice. Been playing too much Dota. Not watching enough.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Alright, looks like everyone's gathered up here. They wanted to smoke, but that sentry reveals that there's a ward there. So PyroDemic's definitely going to be expecting this, and we kind of see them grouping up towards their middle tower, just kind of keeping themselves in a safe position. I think they're confident to fight if a fight does break out, but now that they've seen no one coming for them, they might suspect this Roshan. The smoke did go into the Rosh, so everything looks like it should be safe, but the pings are coming out now. Tidehunter has pointed out that they're probably in Roshan, so whether or not they engage in time is another question, though. They need to go right now to make sure that they can do this. The Bounty Hunter walks in, but there's the Blink Ravage, catches 3, Streetlight stunned up underneath the Roshan, gets bashed. Storm Spirit there, ready to go. Will he be able to bring anyone down, though? The Echo Slam goes out on the solo Storm, and 3 heroes are already down on the side of PyroDemic. Storm going for another leap in, but oh, Shadow Fiend, he's duking it out. Will he be able to do it? He gets 1 kill. Now, oh yeah, just gonna Shadow Blade away. Turns it back around, though. I think he has the auto attacks. Yep, there it is. Boom. And Blade Mail. I wonder how long that was on cooldown for, because if he had popped a Blade Mail on one of those attacks, is there going to be a Sunstrike? Godlike Sunstrike? Nope. Mr. E walks in, a couple more auto attacks, and he is going to get himself a... What? Okay. He saw him walk out of the pit. What's he doing? Okay. Yeah, and there's a sentry right there, so despite getting the Aegis, the Shadow Fiend's going to pop almost instantly, and Bane is there to help out with bringing him back down, but the Black King Bar gets delivered and goes off, and yeah, he's not gonna die a second time, but now we're looking at a completely even score in terms of kills. Map control still in the favor of No Name Team right now, as they've gotten all of their enemies tier 1 towers and have not lost any of their own, so that's something to look out for, as they're going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive with their smokes and whatnot. But losing that Roshan and giving up the Aegis is a huge deal, and I'm sure if we check out the net worth graphs, yeah, you see a definite spike back in the way of PyroDemic after they took that huge fight and the Roshan. So despite the kills looking even, we are definitely at an advantage for PyroDemic, who have a very scary late game lineup. And oh, what was that fissure? No way. Okay, well, no way Frugos could have actually seen that Shadow Fiend, but I think he was throwing it out to just kind of stun out the other camp and do a little bit of damage while he farmed, but stops Mr. E for only a moment before getting picked off by that Bounty Hunter Shadow Fiend combo. Now they see the Bounty Hunter Sunstrike with the Fiend's Grip, but Fiend's Grip actually gets stolen by the Rubik. Isn't going to be able to do anything with this, though, as he gets jumped on by Kirby. 4 staffs up to the high ground, and with a couple of those Forge Spirits help, they're going to bring the Rubik down. So Fiend's Grip no longer on the Rubik as he has died, and that Bounty Hunter takes a fall as he roams through the river as well. So No Name Team grab themselves the Ancient stack, which is going to matter a ton. This is going to be a lot of gold going back their way, and there's not too much that PyroDemic can do to stop this. I mean, we've got Mr. E kind of roaming in with his invis, but the stack is already gone, and everybody has left this area. So Storm jumps in, not able to do anything, though. He's already got a Yule Scepter up, so that's going to kind of help if he gets jumped on, but it's... I think it's not big enough thinking for a safe lane Storm this game. Despite a lot of control on the enemy team, I think you need to go for something very ambitious, and what that ambitious item is, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe a Lincoln Sphere first item. I mean, it's really good against the Bane. It's pretty good against the Cold Snap and things like that. You're never going to get rocketed or caught out by any of that crap, and Yules just doesn't feel strong enough to, for me. Like, he's 3 and 4, he's got 150 last hits, which is okay, but I don't think the Storm has really had the impact that he wants to. I mean, in that bottom fight, he kind of zipped in, did a little bit of damage, jumped back out, and that was pretty much the end of him. And, you know, Storm's just not able to do as much this game as I think he would have wanted to. A lot of weight right now is on Mr. E on this Shadow Fiend. He did an excellent job at that Roshan fight. He picked up the Aegis, and despite a kind of sloppy little engagement that lost him the Aegis immediately after, he did just fine, and he's now sitting at 9 and 4 in total, and is the highest on the net worth charts by quite a wide margin. He's got about 2k gold, well, actually almost close to 3k on the next closest player, who is the Invoker. So definitely doing it very good, and of course Mr. E was a key player in PyroDemic's Game 2 victory, so definitely a contributing factor this game. If No Name Team can deal with him, bring him down first in these fights, I think it's going to be a much easier time. But they're just not able to do it with you know, these Ravages and of course the Rubik control. Rubik's been very good about positioning and using his spells efficiently, even though his record isn't great at this point. 2 and 6, he has been staying really far back in the fights and making sure that he's kind of holding down the right targets. So good on the Rubik for his play so far. Looks like they want to smoke, but if they do it right now, they'll be under vision of a ward. So Solfu kind of just running forward on his own, looking to see if he can maybe find a hook off. And there is a Rubik sitting right here all alone that he could jump on, but doesn't have the vision for that one. Instead, just going to kind of venture into the jungle and yeah.
Top tower is under
Maybe hoping someone TP's down bottom to claim this farm, but I doubt anyone will after seeing that rocket flare go off. Now pushing up on top, Mr. E going to clear out that wave and move up to the tower. This is going to go down pretty darn quickly, and no one's in position to defend. Looks like they're not going to TP, so No Name Team not even using the glyph on that one. That was a free glyph, could have wasted a little bit of the Shadow Fiend's time. But instead just lets him take it and postures up, and they posture up on the bottom lane, ready to take that tier 2. It is down to about half, so with the Forge Spirit they should be able to take it no problem.
Dire's top tower is under
I'm just going to mute myself real quick, guys. I got to blow my nose. I got some cat allergies acting up, so 2 seconds.
Are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Players here.
Dire's top tower.
Alright, we're good. So Bunny Kirby walks up onto the high ground here with that Alacrity skilled up and is whacking away with his Forge Spirits. Now PyroDemic is starting to come back, ready to fight. They got their 2 Invis heroes up and ready to go, but Black King Bar popped off by Streetlight. He's just going to walk forward and do as much damage as he can. Yule Scepter goes out on an anonymous player, but he gets fissured out, and the Fiend's Grip is going to follow it up, so the Storm Spirit is down without buyback. And with these Forge Spirits kind of zoning everything out, they might be able to get this tower. There still hasn't been a Ravage, and the Requiem is still there, so this fight is still a concern, but as long as No Name Team keep themselves spread out efficiently and kind of just chip that tower out, it's very low, they should be able to do this. They're going to drop a Meteor to clear out that creep wave, and yeah, they need to get in here with the next wave, though, because the Storm Spirit's going to be spawned back up in 5 minutes. Roshan respawns in 4 minutes, so 1, 2, 3, yeah, that'll be about 9 minutes total, so relatively short Roshan respawn, and if No Name Team keep control of this side of the map the way they have been, I think the second row shouldn't be as big an issue for them as the first one was. Force Staff nearing completion for the Bane. He still needs about 800 more gold, but once he gets that, that'll be very nice for him. I mean, mobility items are really key on that hero. Oh, this is such bait, though. They've got 3 heroes sitting right behind the Bane, and he's just kind of sitting really far back. I think they really want this Storm to jump. Storm got his Bloodstone before that last fight, actually, which is disastrous. Buying that Bloodstone and then losing charges right away. Yeah, they're going in on the Bane. They see him and they want to go, but they don't know that the rest of the team is right here. But Mr. E gets off a great Requiem, and there's the Ravage. Oh, wait, was that a stolen Ravage? No, that was the Tides Ravage. Never mind. And chasing in on Streetlight and on the Bane, they're going to bring them down for sure. So despite what I thought was going to be a favorable position for No Name team, the team fight was actually a lot better. The Ravage went out, it caught a lot of heroes. The Rubik once again got an excellent lift on the Clockwork. I think if that Clockwork had gotten in, dropped those cogs in this area, and split up the fight, that would have been a much harder engagement. But because there was no front line, because there was no engagement, that a Gyrocopter was basically running for his life from the second the fight started, and of course the Bane, he was kind of the bait that fight, so he got blown up really quickly. Wasn't able to channel off a full Fiend's Grip or even get a Nightmare out for anything. So right now, definitely looking very strong as PyroDemic. I mean, their net worth is in their favor by about 4K and about 5K in terms of XP. Both of these graphs will spike up in a moment once the graph updates as per the end of the fight there. But you know, they've got better team fight. They've got, I wouldn't say they have stronger late game. Gyro is always an incredibly strong late game hero, as is the Invoker. But as it stands right now, they've got a lot of momentum in their favor, and if they can use that to knock down a couple towers, get themselves a Roshan, PyroDemic could very well secure this late game for themselves. The only thing I worry about is the Black King bar getting very low for the Shadow Fiend. There's no Black King bar up on the Storm Spirit yet. I imagine he'll go for one at some point because there's so much control on the side of No Name. But when those run down to 5 seconds, it's going to be very easy for No Name to use all of that magic burst damage we talked about. I mean, the Gyrocopter, he's all magic damage. The Invoker, all magic damage, and of course, you know, the Earthshaker with the Echo Slam and things like that. You need to be able to get all of that off in a fight to win, and they just haven't been doing that. You know, they haven't been doing that with this Black King bar on the Shadow Fiend.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Middle tier 2 gonna drop, and everyone will respawn from No Name. So despite the kill totals staying relatively even, I think PyroDemic has definitely got themselves a very good early advantage. Now, this is much to my dismay, as these guys knocked me out of the playoffs, and I want them down as soon as possible. But for now, they're holding on. So let's go No Name. Let's see what you can do. Invoker has purchased himself a fresh BKB. Didn't have it for that last fight, but definitely going to help him out as the game progresses here. As, you know, that's going to block out the Tidehunter Ravage, pretty much anything that the Storm Spirit can do to you, and, you know, the Requiem and the Raise and all of those sorts of things. The Shadow Fiend, of course, still has a lot of right-click damage, but as long as you're not being focused in a 1v1 engagement there, the BKB is going to do wonders for Bunny Kirby's team fight. Hey, Lurka! I saw that you won. I was checking the chat. Congratulations. Standard Deviants are in the top 4 of the entry level or heroic. I can't remember what division you guys are in. But top 4 in your playoffs nonetheless. Way to go. Wait, the what? Wait. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Saw that creep die, and I was wondering how it died, but I thought I thought it died before Bane's damage did enough to it, and I thought that Mr. E was actually like so on the ball that he dominated another creep right before his creep was about to die to deny the gold. I was like, oh my god, next level, but looks like the creep just died. Smoke up here, and they're looking through the jungle for blood, but No Name team is having none of it. They're keeping themselves as far back as possible. Sunstrike goes into the pit, spots out that there's a creep in there, but will not spot the actual Roshan spawn itself. That will be coming up in just a couple seconds. There it is. Boom. And Roshan is up. Radiant knows about it, but Dire does not, and they don't have a Sunstrike or anything to check it out. They will in 5 seconds, so maybe if they Sunstrike the pit and immediately run over there. Oh wait, the Forge Spirits were on the Dire side. Never mind. So both teams know that that it's up. So this will definitely be an interesting fight as Wingardium Leviosa or No Name Team make their way over to the pit. They've smoked themselves up and they're ready to go. They don't have any vision over this pit area, so they've got to worry about what's happening, but this rocket will reveal that the Shadow Fiend is up on the high grounds, which means that the fight is probably not raging inside of the pit. So they're going to hold off for just a second. The Earthshaker blinks up to the cliff to keep himself in vision of this pit area, but Rocket players continuing to kind of scout this out, and both teams tensions running high as they move around this Roche pit. This could be very pivotal in this game. Storm Spirit just chipping away at the tier 1. Gonna do what he can to kind of take away the vision and control that No Name Team has around the pit. But they go for a jump in there, and they're gonna bring the Storm Spirit down. He gets the Eul Scepter off. Will he be able to jump out? It looks like he will. Black King Bar is out on Streetlight, but he's taking a lot of physical damage, and the auto attacks from the Shadow Fiend are enough. They get a stun out with the hook shot, but he's just gonna cast out the ultimate, and boom, it hits on a couple. Bane is going to be the first one to go down, well, the second one after the Gyrocopter, rather. And Storm jumps in even further. Echo Slam out from the Earthshaker, and he gets himself a triple! What a play! Oh my god, that is so much gold. 700, 1300, 800. 4.5k gold on this Earthshaker after that play. Gets all 3 core heroes from PyroDemic. What a turnaround. That was absolutely beautiful, that Echo Slam. Oh my god, a full creep wave, 3 heroes, and then the follow-up fissure to lock it down. Oh my god, beautiful. Beautiful. Earthshaker, what's he going for? Yeah, goes straight into the Mystic Staff. I don't blame him. Not sure whether this is going to be a Sheepstick or an Octarine core. Octarine is kind of the usual luxury item for the Earthshaker, but considering that there's a Storm and a Shadow Fiend in this game whose BKBs are running low, I think the going for the Sheepstick might be the preferable choice to kind of keep these heroes locked down. Bunny Kirby jumping into the Roche pit right now with using that Cold Snap and the Alacrity to just chip it down, and while the Shadow Fiend's down, they're just going to go for this. They know that they can fight, and Shadow Fiend really doesn't want to buy back with 10 seconds left. Yeah, there's no way he can get to the pit. He doesn't have boots travel or anything like that, so there's no way that he can find his way up here any quicker than he would normally. So, yeah, this will be it. Roshan going to go down, and Storm goes for a long zip in, but he's going to get stunned out and finished off almost immediately. That fissure was very good from the Earthshaker, holds down the Storm, so they get Roshan and a kill and an Aegis. It is going to be an Octarine core after that kill on the Storm there. So Earthshaker does go for the Octarine. He's going to have those reduced cooldowns and a little bit of that spell vampirism, but either way. Submaniac looking like he's going to get caught out here. He gets jumped into the cogs, and yeah, no way to force staff himself out of that one. He'd already used it. I think he actually force staffed aggressively to farm, which is a huge problem. You can't do that. You got to run away. Dr. Corporal British Frugas, he's played for this team for every season of the AD2L, but he also played for Root Gaming. He was their support player alongside Wagamama. While they were in operation, they just... I think they disbanded before the majors, but Root Gaming is probably where you know that name from. But these guys have been playing since AD2L Season 1 or 2, like really early on. I believe Solfu, Frugas, and Streetlight. I'm not sure which of these were on that team, but Solfu and Frugas for sure played for Wingardium Leviosa, and then they changed their name a few times. There's been a couple different iterations of the team, but these guys have known them for a really long time. They're amazing players, and definitely ones to look out for in the kind of pro-am scene as the next batch of upcoming teams makes their way in. Shadow Fiend still holding strong at the top of the net worth charts, well over 3k ahead of anybody else, but I mean, with these last 2 fights, we've seen this net worth and XP plummet back in the way of No Name team. They've dropped from almost a 10k XP advantage to only 2,500, and about a 7,500 net worth advantage down to about 2,500 as well. So they're still playing at a slight disadvantage, but all that gold going on to Frugos, he's going to have a lot to contribute to all of these fights, and of course they've now got Bunny Kirby farming up pretty damn well. He's very close to his Aghanim Scepter, and that Gyrocopter, he's only going to get more and more scary. He's picked up that Aegis the Immortal, and we're basically just going to see him go for nothing but damage from now on. Tier 2 tower going to drop, and No Name team casually walk away, getting tracked up there as they go on their retreat, but Pyro doesn't really have much to chase with at this point in time. They've got, of course they got the Blink and the Force Staff on the Tide and stuff, but this is just not a fight they want to pick, so they're going to move their way around and get all the lanes pushed out. Ideally, I think they want to get that top tier 2 before they can go anywhere else, but right now they're kind of trending towards the bottom lane, just kind of grabbing whatever farm they can from the enemy team's jungle, and of course they're going to push out that bottom lane that the Storm has ever so kindly abused and pushed out into towards their tower. Shadow Fiend farming up on the top lane. He's gone for that Monkey King bar. No real mischance to mitigate. Yeah, none to speak of. No Radiances, no Solar Crest, no nothing. I think he just feels like that's the damage item at this moment. If there isn't any evasion on the field on the field, I feel like going for a Daedalus is probably the better choice. It just offers you so much more potential damage with those crits, and of course you've already got pretty good right click already. Hook shot onto the cliff, and they pick off the bounty hunter, who looks like he went up there to D-ward and didn't have a way to get off. So right, yeah, Root won the open walls. Alright, bottom lane tower gonna get chipped out here. Fortify and a buyback is going to thwart their pressure for now, but that Aegis on the Gyrocopter is scary. Yeah, they're going to give him the Alacrity. He's just going to walk forward, start doing as much damage to the racks as he can. He can always pop that BKB. He'll probably wait until after the Aegis is gone to do that, though. Storm goes for a long jump in, and they're looking for Soulfu. Blink in. There's the Ravage, but the Black King Bar reaction is good from Streetlight. He's going to be able to fight this out, and they're going on to Submania. Can they drop him low enough? Doesn't look like it. Gem is on the deck right now, and the Fiend's Grip is good, but not good enough as the Bounty Hunter cancels it out with that Shuriken on the back lines. Only one hero dropped from either team so far. Streetlight looks like his Aegis is going to go off. Do they re-engage here? It looks like Bunny Kirby wants to TP out, but they Yules him up, so maybe they have to fight. Oh, Gyrocopter doesn't really have a lot to contribute. He's going to try to do whatever damage he can, but really good defense there by PyroDemic. That Ravage was absolutely on point. It hit everybody except for the Gyrocopter, who got his BKB off, but that didn't matter. That allowed them to pick off the backline heroes, and I think the real flaw in that push was the Clockwork coming too far forward. At the time that Clockwork got caught out by the Storm Spirit, he was up here, and ideally you want like Invoker here, you want Gyrocopter here, and then everybody else kind of along this back line. That really just didn't happen. The Clockwork was up a little too far forward, and so the Storm was able to pick him off, and things got ugly. Up on top lane, Bane finds himself in trouble as the Storm goes for a long zip and gets himself a kill there. So Storm starting to come into his own as he's starting to pick up some items. He's got the gold for an Orchid whenever he wants it. He's got Boots of Travel so he can zip-zop around the map whenever he needs to, and of course that Bloodstone starting to build up charges as it's sitting at 9 at the moment. Pressure coming in on the mid-tier 3. Gyrocopter's going to be respawning in just a second here, so he's going to be able to help defend this, and of course Invoker back up in less than 10 seconds. So for now, I think PyroDemic is going to back off, and yeah, they do. Satanic now up onto the Shadow Fiend, so he's got that lifesteal to kind of keep him sustained in these long fights. So, you know, this game could still go either way. This is a very climactic third game of the series. Net worth not taking a huge jump after that last fight, but the XP definitely making that jump almost back up to 10k in the favor of PyroDemic. So they're doing a very good job right now of holding on to this game, and their late game is going to get even more scary as this Tide starts to come towards his refresher orb here. He's probably got another another 2,500 gold to go until he gets that. But once he does, it's going to be a very, very sad time for No Name Team, especially when these BKBs start to run out of charges, like I said. Well, actually, I said that in reverse, but you know, there are BKBs that are starting to run out of charges on No Name as well. We're down to 8 charges, or the 8-second charge on Invoker, and the Gyrocopter, his has got to be 7. Yeah, 7. So once those start to wear down, these Ravages are going to get even more potent, and there's going to be a very sweet spot for Pyro when if the game goes that long, where the Tide has his Refresher, the Storm has all the items he needs to apply more magic damage, perhaps a Shiva's Guard on top of this Orchid and other such things, and the BKBs are going to be 5 seconds, and it's going to get ugly, but who knows? Like I said earlier, there is another BKB counter timing here. When that SF starts to get down to 6 and 5 second charges, the Invoker's going to be able to do a lot more against him. And in that last fight, he got caught out by the Ravage, which was really ultimately his undoing. But if he can stay alive through the initial spells, keep himself going, he's going to be able to dish out a lot of long-term magic damage to this team. Storm Spirit now closing in on 300 CS. The only other player above that margin is the Shadow Fiend, of course. Really good flash farmer, and he's sitting at 347. Very, very wealthy person. Invoker got tracked, so he spams out every spell he's got to try to maybe kill the Bounty and Invis, but Minato was out of there as quick as can be, and going for that Glimmer Cape build. I still don't fully understand this build. I get that you don't buy it for the stealth, you buy it to kind of save your team and help them get out of trouble. You can, you know, that Shadow Fiend, if he's getting focused down, you can give him that bonus magic resist, but still, I feel like there's a lot of other items that bounties could be going for. But what do I know? I got knocked out by the team that's doing this, so I'm not going to say nothing. I'm literally casting this game because PyroDemic beat my team, so we'll leave it at that. Earthshaker's getting pretty wealthy now. He's sitting back up at 2k XP after, or 2k gold after that huge influx of gold in that mid-game fight, up to 4k with the 1 Echo Slam. That was just huge. Call it the $4,000 Echo Slam. It was monstrous, but yeah. Wonder what he's going to go for next. He has that Glimmer Cape, of course, very good for him, but where he wants to go from here, whether it's a Force Staff, a Shiva's Guard, a Veil of Discord, an Aghanim Scepter, there's a lot of options for Earthshaker. Even the Sheepstick would be good. But they're going to head straight into the Rosh Pit. This will be the 3rd Roshan, so Chi's on the line here, and yeah, Pyro is not in position to contest this. They're going to smoke up and start walking that way, but by the time they get halfway there, this Roshan will be dead. Lots of damage coming out from the Gyrocopter and the Invoker, so and there we go. That's going to be the Roshan, and they're ready to fight if Pyro want to come into this. Boom, great hookshot. Catches up the Bounty Hunter. He is stuck in the cogs there, and he's going to be the first casualty of this fight. Rubik followed up very shortly thereafter, and they see the Tide, but they cannot catch him. Don't have the vision to do it, and Clockwork, does he have Aghanims? No, he doesn't have the eggs yet, so he doesn't even have another hook. So either way, they're going to make their way into the base and start pushing it out, but Storm Spirit is ratting out their top lane, and they've got to deal with him. Oh, the Earthshaker was looking for blood there as he primes that Enchant Totem, ready to stop that that Storm from getting away, but not able to complete the TP cancel. So there's now 1 back at base, which means that PyroDemic has a little bit better chance of taking this fight if they do indeed go for it, but Streetlight going to walk right up into the base, turn on the flat cannon, and start chipping away at this Rax. He's being very cautious, though. I think they're not comfortable without the Earthshaker, and yeah, I don't know if they're waiting for another wave. Earthshaker's on his way. He's walking, so looks like they're waiting for him to show up. But Bane getting caught out in the river here, but hookshot out onto an anonymous player. Can they hold him down long enough to finish this off? Submaniac blinks forward, but he doesn't have the Ravage available as he gets pushed back by those cogs. And now they're just chasing really hard for Soulfo. He's going to Force Staff up over the cliff. Storm Spirit chases him, but he jukes downwards over towards his team, and Storm looks like he's going to have to get out. Oh, Submaniac blinks into the trees. Not a good play by him. throws out the Ravage at the last second and only catches 2, it's not going to matter. He is down for 74 seconds, and the initiation that PyroDemic needs to take these fights is now gone. They could very well lose 2 lanes of racks here. Maybe just the 1, but yeah, things look ugly. They need that tide to fight, and now we've got the 2 cores just walking up into the base. They're going to start chipping away at the melee racks because they know they can take it right now. The Storm Spirit going to chase long and deep in there, looking for the bait. Hook shot in on Rubik, brings him down almost instantly, though. Soulfu trying to run away. 4 staffs out, takes a little bit, a good chunk of damage, but does not end up dying. Storm Spirit goes for a long zip, but actually gets caught out. Can they stun him up? No, he gets away. Jumps up into the trees, yeah, he's going to TP back to base. So Storm running interference, and despite losing the 2 sets of racks, it looks like Pyro is going to hold the rest of their base. Nado does not get hit by that Sunstrike, but pretty well played fight, all told. That hook in on the Rubik may not have been warranted. It did kind of cost them the looming threat that was the Clockwork. I mean, the Clockwork, he can do that. He can hook shot in. He can lock one target down for a couple minutes and then get out. But you know, once you've already hooked in, the other team isn't scared to come towards you. And so once he shot in, they just walked forward, killed off the Clockwork, and that was enough to kind of scare No Name Team into not going for anything more in terms of buildings. I was talking about how they might have been able to go for a middle racks if Submaniac stayed down for longer, but he did not. And they stalled long enough. So 1 rack's down, and PyroDemic is hurting a little bit, licking their wounds, but they're still in this game for sure. I mean, the deficit is not that big in terms of net worth. They're only down about 2,500, and XP is sitting back up around 5K. So still doing fairly well, and nothing to worry about there. Clockwork throwing out the rockets, but not spotting anyone as the Invis is out. Actually, there was an Invis rune and not the Shadow Blade, but there is a gem on that Bane now, so this Bounty Hunter is going to be a lot less safe. And yeah, so they rocket the cliff, getting rid of some wards, removing some of the map control. If we look to the team's vision, there is very good vision for the Dire side. You can see, wait, oh, there we go. Okay, those were the buttons I was looking for. Yeah, Radiant side vision is next to nothing. They can see that they're getting jumped on top, but they have no vision of their jungle. They have no vision of anything elsewhere on the map. Dire vision, very strong right now. They've got vision inside the base, they've got vision around the base, and they're taking away control in that tier 2 there. Now, with that Aegis still up, they're continuing to move forward. They want to go in onto this tier 3 tower and start to chip it out, and Streetlight's going to do exactly that. Walks right up onto the high ground, and he's going to get beaten down just a little bit. They're going to throw out some harassment, but can't go too hard on him, because if you waste all your spells, then it's just going to come back and fight you. But I think that was a pretty good Aegis kill, all told. They didn't waste all that much, and they're going to be able to pick him up. But the Tornado intercepts Submaniac right as he's about to go in and pop the Ravage. He does get it off, but the BKBs are already active. The Fissure goes out to kind of block things out, but the Storm Spirit going deep, going to try to make whatever pickoffs he can. Blink forward, they pick up Soul Food, bring him back, and he's going to die. Soul Food's down. That is a trade of an offlaner for an offlaner, initiator for initiator, and this is going to be a retreat out from No Name Team. They still got the dominance in this game, but PyroDemic is holding strong, and if they can keep if they can take one of these fights, if they can take like a 4 or 5 for 1, they're going to be able to push right back across the map and get themselves a set of racks or 2. Roshan's still pretty far away from respawning. We've got about 5 minutes left on that, so we can't count on a Roshan for any of the fights in the near future. Full Satanic purchased by Gyrocopter now, so he's going to have that lifesteal available to keep him sustained in these fights. And I think this is a good choice because a lot of these fights we've been seeing, Gyro wants to frontline, he wants to be up there tanking the damage, and like in this fight we saw that. Like he walks up onto the high ground and he's like, "Fight me, bitches! I got Aegis!" And they're like, "Okay," and they attack him a few times and then he dies. And because of that, No Name Team ended up getting pushed out. And I mean, that's kind of how you want to play it. You want to have that Aegis carrier up front going, "Hey, fight me, bitches." But if they die that quickly, where it's just auto attacks and it's just minor spells, then you don't actually gain any advantage by doing that. So with this Satanic, if they secure the next Roshan, No Name Team is going to be in a much better position to take the next fight. But You've got to be careful right now. Like I said, if they get smoked on or initiated on in an unfavorable engagement, it's going to be really ugly for them. I gotta say, though, that last fight with the Tornado into the Tidehunter was absolutely amazing. Tide blinked forward, and right as he did, he got caught by the Tornado that was coming across. It was immediately followed up by a Fissure to hold him down for a few more seconds, and despite getting the Ravage off, a lot of damage was already done. Eye of Scotty now purchased on the Shadow Fiend, so he is about as beef can get. He's got the Satanic, the Scotty, 3.3k HP, and almost, yeah, close to 400 attack damage. So I think the only thing left for him to do is trade out those treads for bots, and then turn that Shadow Blade into a Silver Edge. There's not really anything to break, but just getting that little bit more value out of that 6th item slot will be very good for him. I wonder if Break removes Aftershock. I don't think it does. It'd be a very interesting interaction if it did, though. Frugas has farmed himself up to 3,300 gold, has finished off those BOTs. We were talking about what he might get earlier, so he went for the BOTs. But now, curious to see what his next set of items is going to be. I almost wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a bit more of a combat build. Perhaps build into a Daedalus or something like that, just so that he can get in and start just really bringing down these high health targets. I mean, Tidehunter, he's relatively low health this game. He's got 1,500 HP. He didn't go for drums or anything like that to kind of buff out his HP pool. But still, 1,500 HP is pretty significant. Storm Spirit himself, he's got 2.2k with all of the stats on his Sheepstick and on his Bloodstone. Yeah, they're just farming, biding their time, waiting for that Roshan. It will be up in about a minute on the dot. So the double damage is there. They spotted that out, and they decide that they're going to wait. And actually, if they wait for a full minute to pick up that double damage rune, it'll be up right in time with Roshan, and they'll be able to take that a lot quicker. So probably a good call to leave it, and hopefully they check the pit at that time, because it would be a really... it'd be a really big problem if they just like checked in the pit and they were like, oh, Rosh isn't here, I guess we take the double damage now. But respawns in 40 seconds, and they have about 40 seconds to grab this DD. So if they go grab the DD and then walk right into the pit, they should be happy campers. But yeah, it looks like Louis Simon is going to camp it out, and yeah, they're standing right on top of the DD, waiting for the last possible second to secure that. Nothing for Streetlight to farm, so he's just going to wait. And they know it's got to be soon, so just waiting. Just waiting. 10, 9, 8. If they walk away from this, oh my god. 3, 2, 1. Alright, Roshan spawns. They take the DD. There it goes. Alright. I was going to say, there's an opportunity for a huge misplay there, but they wait it out, and they get the exact perfect timing that they want. Walk into the pit with a DD. They have so many wards. Look at this dire vision right now. They can see everything on this map. They can see the entire Radiant jungle and the temple up here, so there's no way anything's going to sneak up on them. If you look at the Radiant, they have no clue where the dire is, and it doesn't really matter to them. They can't do anything even if they saw this Roshan. Like, I mean, at the position they were in, I don't think they can walk from here all the way over to here if they knew that that Roshan was going on the minute it started. They had to be in a much better position. They had to be postured up around here to be able to go take that fight, and they just weren't. So Roshan goes. Cheese is over onto the Invoker. They've got the Aegis up on the Gyrocopter. And was there an additional cheese? Because I feel like they didn't use the first cheese. I guess they must have. Maybe sold it. Okay. Yeah, so cheese up on Invoker. And Gyro's got the Aegis, so they're going to go back up to top. And like I said, this game is going to be this time around, it's going to be a lot easier for them to kind of siege this out because of that Satanic. Gyro can kind of just walk up to the high ground, do that kind of whole, you know, like puff your chest, fight me, bitch, let's go, right? Like, just come at me. So, so we'll probably see that happen right here as this Creep Wave walks in. He's just going to walk up, start chipping away at the tower, and he's going to take some damage from raises and stuff. Like, you can see these low cooldown spells being thrown at him. He's down to about half HP, but he's going to have to back up. You really need healing items for this, though. You need an urn on somebody, or Hell, you could even hand him the cheese right now so that he can go in for another round. What was the... Okay, Storm just baiting out abilities on the sidelines. Hookshot goes out, and it looks like it caught a teammate, so... Oh, okay. So they're going to send the Gyrocopter back to deal with the Storm Spirit, who has pushed out the mid lane, and everyone's just going to come back. But they want to do this stealthily, and there we go. The Echo Slam goes out, they get the hook shot, and that's it. Storm Spirit is going to drop. That is absolutely huge for them right now. They need to create pressure with this and force this buyback out. If the Storm didn't have a buyback, that was almost a guaranteed set of racks, but because Storm does, they just need to walk across the map, get up in Pyro's faces, and do the damage they need. If only they could see this. If they had the DD, oh man, this fight would get ugly very, very, very quickly. But Sanjin Yasha for the Gyrocopter, buying up whatever damage he can before they go into this engagement here. And looks like, yeah, it's going to be a forced buyback for sure. And I think Pyro's going to try to bait this. They're going to kind of sit back, wait for the opportunity, and then tide Blink in, Ravage, and the buyback with a long-range zip from the Storm Spirit. There is a Refresher up too, so we got to pay attention to that. The 2 Ravages will be very, very important in this fight. Streetlight posturing up on the high ground, throwing out the rockets to just kind of keep the enemy at bay for now. And Storm has actually spent money. He doesn't have buyback, but he's got 5-second respawn. So in a second, he'll be able to come back into this fight. And yeah, No Name Team knows this, but there we go. Blink forward, Ravage again. They hold Streetlight down. His Aegis is going to pop, but they've still got fighting potential here. The Black King Bar is up on Bunny Kirby, and Streetlight has now popped the BKB. He's ready to go, trying to work away at Mr. E, but decides that target is way too tanky and decides to go for the other heroes instead. 3 heroes down on the side of No Name Team. They've bought 1 back. There's an Echo Slam. It hits 2. Is it going to be enough to turn this back around? Meteor hits! It's going to bring down Mr. E for sure. Do they have enough control to bring down the Storm Spirit? Doesn't look like it. He zips away to the high ground, and the buyback is going to come out from Shadow Fiend. They're not going to be able to continue this push. Another great defense from PyroDemic. No! They catch the Storm Spirit! Oh, he must have just been caught out of mana with the Earthshaker nearby, and that is going to be a huge deal. He's going to be forced to buy back here. I think once that buyback comes out, No Name Team has to disengage, and they have to do it quick because they don't have much in the way to get away from the Storm Spirit. But yeah, there's the buyback from the Storm. Long-range zip. He's going to jump right in on the back line, work it up the Earthshaker, and now they're pulling back Streetlight. His Satanic is not enough to keep him alive. Bunny Kirby trying to run away with that Deafening Blast, but he gets sheeped up by the Storm Spirit. Storm is absolutely going ham here. Anonymous player wants to bring him down, but just doesn't have the mana to follow it up, and the control is good. Clockwork trying to run away from this. He's got a hookshot if he needs to try to get away, but 1 hero is going to get caught, and it's going to be the Earthshaker. The Earthshaker that just bought back, mind you, so he's not going to be able to come back in for another fight. If PyroDemic push right now and hit buildings, this is going to be a huge deal. Gyrocopter does not have buyback, and he is not even close to it. If they go now, they can take multiple sets of racks and maybe even the game. What a game. What a game indeed. I feel like they're being too passive, though. I feel like they're being too passive. Their base is taking damage, yes, and Mr. E does need to be back there to push it out, and he's going to buy Boots of Travels very soon here, but they need to be in the enemy's base soon. Like, if this Gyrocopter comes back up, it's not going to happen, and they need time to waste spells like this. They need to force Bunny Kirby to use out his wave-clearing spells, his Tornado, his Meteor, his Ice Wall, etc. And if they don't, then he can just stall it out for the extra 15 seconds. But a long-range zip comes in. They have the sheep out onto Bunny Kirby, and there goes the Fiend's Grip onto Mr. E. It's going to help the Invoker escape for now, but instead the Bane is going to drop. Bane has buyback, though, so I think that's a fair trade, but they cannot afford to lose any more here. I think they might even just forfeit this Rax. Despite the Gyrocopter being back up, they don't have the support they need. Bane is going to buy back. They do want to fight this, but they've got 30 seconds on the Earthshaker. Can they do it without him is the question. Tornado goes forward, catches out the anonymous player, but he gets force staff back before he loses too much of his mana. And call down gonna hit absolutely nothing. No creeps there to clear out, and the new wave is coming in. Yeah, I feel like there wasn't enough urgency in this push. I feel like they should have gone a lot sooner, and they could have gotten a lot more out of that. But instead, they dilly-dally just a little bit too long, and complete hold from No Name Team. They take no significant damage to their base, lose no buildings, and despite a bad fight at the enemy's base, they did crack the base and do have themselves a significant net worth advantage, or XP advantage rather. Net worth is pretty much dead even. What a series! What a series! This is a really good game. Now my prediction before the series was actually PyroDemic loses game 1 and then comes back and wins the series in 2 games. So we'll see if I'm right. But either team could really take this, and I mean, as we've already established, No Name Team is definitely in control. They've got the map control. They've got the base opened up. But whether or not they can hold on to that is another question. They're looking for Bunny Kirby. The long-range zip from the Storm Spirit. Is it going to be enough? Can they bring him down? The hook shot in from the Clockwork. He hits the tornado out, and he's going to walk off towards the side. But he does end up falling in the end. A double Ravage comes out, catches everybody except for Streetlight, who's trying to go as ham as he can with what he has. The buyback from the Invoker. Is he going to be able to do it, though? Streetlight trying to fight up, and he's up against 2 heroes, and it's just not enough. The Vortex brings him down, and he's going to be out. He does have a buyback this time around. But the Invoker has already used his. It's going to be 3 defending against 3. And looks like PyroDemic is just going to back away. What a game. Oh, wow. That almost caught the Bounty Hunter. I don't know if that would have been enough. What's he got? 450 life? Oh, yeah, that's 500 true damage. Yeah, if that Sunstrike hit, the Bounty Hunter was dead. Woo-wee! This series is pretty damn crazy. Refresher Orb, ready to be completed by the Earthshaker. He doesn't have buyback for another 2 minutes, so he might just want to buy it up now. He's kind of holding on in case he needs the buyback, because at this point, it kind of gets to that point where if you die, like even if you spend half your death dead and then you buy back, you're still okay. So it looks like he wants to hold on to that, but he doesn't. It's going to be a long while until he has enough gold to purchase up that refresher. So whether or not you go all in on the one fight, or if you think that you're going to need the buyback. The buyback seems very significant this game because of the Storm Spirit picks. Storm's just kind of gotten to that critical mass where he has so much mana and so many items that a super long-range zip can just take out anybody on the side of No Name Team. So they need to be very careful with their positioning. And they leave the pit seconds before Roshan is going to spawn. Are they going to stay in here is the question, though. They're going to go for a D-ward just to try to keep things safe. And Roshan respawns. Okay, they see it. They see it. That was so close to them walking out and giving up on it. But I think the Clockwork Rocket saw it as well. So No Name Team is there and ready to fight. They catch out 2 with the Tornado Meteor. But is it going to be enough? Kirby turned into a sheep yet again, and he is not popping these BKBs as quickly as he needs to. 100 seconds down on him. Streetlight is trying to fight it up, but he just does not have the damage to make it happen. And now he's getting focused down. Long-range hookshot in from Sofu. He's holding Mr. E in place, and actually, they might be able to make this happen, but Streetlight getting beaten on from multiple sides. Is he going to be brought down? It looks like he will. There is the Ravage. He does still have buyback, but the lone Gyrocopter buyback against all of these heroes might just be too much. And they're going to go into the Roshan, which will give No Name Team some time to respawn, but I think if PyroDemic knew that the status of the enemy's buybacks, they would be going for base like mad right now. They'd only have 2 heroes to fight with, and the Earthshaker, he does have the Echo Slam and could afford the refresher right now if he wants it. So, this is such a hard decision for him. I feel like he should go for the refresher, because I don't think there's any way that they defend with just the 2 heroes, other than landing a double amazing Echo Slam with a call down on top of it, but it's going to be very hard to do. And Storm did zip away from the pit here towards mid, so it looks like maybe they're just going to say, screw it, let's go for base, let's force the buybacks, and maybe get Roshan on the back end. But there's a few different things they could do, because to be honest, if Mr. E clears this wave with his raises right now, just turns around, raises twice, and then walks over to Rosh Pit, him and the Tide Hunter could do Roshan very efficiently. And I mean, the Storm's not going to offer a lot to that Roshan fight. So Roshan could very easily just go down to the 2 of them, and then Storm can push this out. And the second that Storm has reached the base, then Shadow Fiend just boots travels in, and they can continue pushing with the Aegis and kind of get the best of both worlds. So That's that looks like that might be what they do. We'll see how it goes once this pause is finished. But very, very intense pause at a very tense moment. Holy crap! This net worth graph spiked up from about a 5-ish K advantage in the favor of Team No Name, all the way to 10K in the favor of PyroDemic. So a couple good fights, and they're way back into it. Alright. We're good to go. And, yeah, so Anonymous Player and Roar are going to push up the mid lane. They're very low on mana, though, so they don't really have... I mean, I shouldn't really say that about Storm, because he's got 70 regen per second, but the Rubik definitely had to go back to base before he could contribute anything here. Submaniac is here, and he's got mana to spare. Refresh Orb off cooldown in 5 seconds. He might just refresh that right as soon as it comes off, just so that he has the spell available and ready whenever he needs it. But we'll see here as there's a boots travel in on the Shadow Fiend, so they didn't go for the Roshan at all. Instead, just going to boots travel straight into the base and start taking buildings. And they see that there's no buyback, so they're pinging out on the tier 4s. But buyback out from the Gyrocopter. They've only got 2 down for the moment. The respawn timer was fairly short on Bane because he's lower level. But Minato held out on the top there. They're not going to go try to claim that kill. Instead, just worrying about defending their base. And yeah, Mr. E going to walk in straight through the base, not really caring too much about anything. And yeah, takes down a tier 3. Diving forward is the Storm Spirit, looks for the Bane, and yeah, gets a kill. So Bane is out of this fight, but this is going to be the fight to end all fights. If No Name Team does not take this fight here, they're going to be in for a mound of trouble. We got the refresher on Frugos, so he's got another ulti if he wants it. 2 heroes down right off the bat. The Tidehunter goes in, pops off that ulti, but it really doesn't have much effect. The hookshot goes out. Are they going to be able to hold Mr. E in place? They need something. No Monkey King bars, no stuns, no nothing. And so they get 3 kills on relatively good targets, but the Shadow Fiend remains alive, and they lose a set of racks in the mid and a melee racks on top, which brings us to a very precarious position where Pyro, I think in all regards, are now ahead. They've got higher net worths, they've got more buildings destroyed, and they've got all the buybacks. I think buyback status is the tab I should have open right now, because you look, there's 5 buybacks on PyroDemic. On the side of No Name Team, there are 0, and most of them are on cooldown. Bane's is on cooldown, Invoker's is on cooldown, and Gyro's is on cooldown, meaning that if they lose anyone, it could very well be game. So they're going to make their way in there and grab themselves another Roshan. That's the 5th Roshan of the game. And once again, Aegis goes to Gyro, Cheese goes to Invoker. But, yeah, I think this Invoker needs to be a lot more liberal with his BKB charges, because every single fight, we've seen him go in, blow his first round of spells, he spends, you know, a tornado and a meteor or something, and then immediately gets sheeped and focused down. And in that last fight, it really cost him, because he didn't have the buyback, and he was down for over 2 minutes. And he had a BKB active and ready to go, he just never used it. So I think when these fights start, the second he launches off that first volley of spells and he feels like the enemies are coming out of their crowd control, he just needs to slam the BKB and go for it. But No Name Team feels that this is their time. They're ready to go. They're pushing out the lanes with Frugos, but he's got the boots travel to bring him over to mid. So they want to go. They want to fight right now, knowing that the Tide's abilities are down. He's got 40 seconds left on the Ravage and 70 left on the Refresher. So if they hit the base right now, they could take a very favorable fight. The Shadow Fiend, like I said, almost critical mass on him. He's hitting really hard. He's bought a Moon Shard, so he's attacking even faster. Pretty close to 400 attack damage. And, oh, he gets 4-staffed out of the base, though, and they're going to try to bring him down. He pops out the BKB. BKB is all around. Storm is on the back line, trying to bring down Frugos. Is he going to be able to do it? He gets Glimmer Caped away. Invoker is working away on his auto attacks right now, using the Deafening Blast. It's going to hit quite a few. The Storm Spirit is held out for just a few seconds, and Mr. E, disarmed forever. He is going to go down. That's huge. He's going to buy back right away, but the Shadow Fiend buying back is not always great for him, because that means he's down a lot of damage that he wouldn't be otherwise. But there is the Ravage. There is no refresher on that, though. The Echo Slam goes out there, holding down Mr. E. There's a refreshed Echo Slam. Can they bring him down? They do! Shadow Fiend is down from his buyback, but the Storm Spirit is going ham. He's trying to pick off this back line. He's got 2 so far. Can he bring down this Gyrocopter? They are working so hard to bring down the Gyro. The buyback from the Invoker, and he tries to BOTs in, but does it get... It gets cancelled! His BOTs get canceled. I think they got killed by a stray creep or something. Streetlight is trying to do what he can. The Storm Spirit jumps away, and Invoker now has to run the entire length of the map to be there with his team. Wow. What a game, my friends. There's buyback from the Tidehunter, but Streetlight might be able to get this melee racks and kind of even up the creep equilibrium, but the fortification is going to hold him off for just a sec. I don't think he's too scared of that Storm Spirit, as he does have the BKB. He can always just BKB and TP out, but he just gets sheeped up right off the bat. There is another Ravage, but is it going to be enough to secure a fight? I don't think so. Streetlight is starting to work away with that Satanic, and they'll probably get Submaniac. Maybe he gets a 4-staff away, so he should be fine. They get the melee racks, and looks like they'll back off from here. Bunny Kirby, yeah, gets tracked up, but decides it is time to walk away from this. And so they get out, they TP back, they get themselves a single racks in the mid lane to balance out their single racks loss on top. 50 to 47 is the kill total after 65 minutes. Holy hell, I gotta go to the bathroom, friends. I've been chugging water back to keep my voice dry, or to keep my voice from going dry, and it's just, it is built up. So let's hope one of these teams ends this game soon, but this is just an absolute nail-biter at this point. I think if any team can get a significant victory in a team fight, it's going to turn into just a throne really quick. It's, I mean, yeah, there might not even be a throne. It'll probably just be a GG call, but what an intense game. The winner of this is going to the AD2L Grand Finals of the Champions League, where there is a cash prize waiting to be grabbed. So both of these teams really in it to win it, playing their hearts out, and what a great game so far. I can't even say how good this has been. And Demon Edge now sitting on the gyrocopter. I think if he gets that extra 500 gold, or 400 now, he's going to be making his way over towards Divine Rapier territory, which could get very, very scary for PyroDemic. Alright, BOT's coming in. The Earthshaker's there with a haste rune, and they're ready to go. They're trying to go on Mr. E, but he's got everything going on him. He's got the BKB, he's got the Lotus Orb. Storm Spirit in on the back line, going on the Bane right away, trying to bring him down, but the Echo Slam is good. Hits on 2, Mr. E is getting brought down, pushed out of the cogs, and yes, he is going to drop. Shadow Fiend, no buyback, but the buyback comes out from the Storm Spirit. Missed Deafening Blast, but a long range jump in from the Storm. Looks for the Bane, but actually does get the kill. I think that was an Orchid Burn at the... Oh no, it was a suicide from the Bane. But, yeah, trying to deal with the Storm Spirit. They just do not have what it takes. Trying to hold him in place, but the cogs push back. It's enough! They get the Storm Spirit. He doesn't have buyback. I think this might be the GG, friends. Streetlight is moving forward. He's got all the damage in the world, and there is nothing to stop him. They're going for the racks first. He's getting blown up by the flat cannon, or the creep wave is getting blown up by the flat cannon. Sofu threatening that hook shot out. He's ready to fight if they want to take it, but I think this is going to be it. This Rax is going to fall. Mid-Rax is going to fall. Roar tries to 4-staff himself away. Gets a Yule Scepter, but it's not going to matter. He goes down. Third Rax goes down. Ravage hits on 3, but they can't fight this. There's nothing to do. They don't have damage. They've got control, but that's it. That's it. I think the no-name team are going to claim this. There's no GG call yet, but Mega Creeps up against a Gyrocopter who's going Rapier. No buybacks for 30 seconds. The throne's going to fall here in just a moment. Another Ravage coming out. These things are happening so frequently, but BKB's Satanic's out once again to try to heal up Streetlight, and yeah, they're trying to stall this out, but it's not going to happen. Ancient is going to fall. That's going to be it. The no-name team will be moving on to your AD2L Champions League Grand Finals, and PyroDemic will be knocked out of the tournament. Good news for me, because PyroDemic knocked me out. Screw them. No, I'm kidding. They're a great team. Bunch of awesome dudes, and it was a really, really solid game from both sides. We go to almost 70 minutes. 68-36 is the total game time, and the kill totals, wow, what a game. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blast bringing you this game. What an epic series. Definitely more competitive than I thought. Game 1 was pretty one-sided. I thought No Name Team might just kind of roll right over Pyro, but Game 2, Pyro brought it back. They played a little bit shaky, but they took some great team fights and managed to get themselves off to a kill advantage that just snowballed out of control. And then Game 3, this epic nail-biter of a final with both teams just taking their slugs at each other, buybacks coming out in droves, and in the end, it was PyroDemic who ended up cracking. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been awesome bringing you these games. If you enjoyed my casting, please throw me a follow down below. You can also find me on Twitter and YouTube over at Cptn.Canuck Dota. Check that out. But for now, that's been it. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blast, and I hope you all have a great night. Cheers. Whoopsies.